All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim B'cha Kodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. And also I want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And in this lesson, I wanted to get into a little bit of history, and I wanted to hit a few points here on this topic that you see before your eyes. And as you see, the title says, History, Gaius, Popilius, Laenas, Line in the Sand. Now, the phrase line in the sand or drawing a line in the sand is a common phrase that I'm sure that brothers and sisters are common with. All right, most people are. And I just wanted to get into the history of that phrase, and where it stemmed from. And it stems from this man whose name is Gaius Popilius Laenas. Okay, so we're going to get into this person, all right, and the events that took place, okay. Well, I should say the event that took place during his time and how this line in the sand phrase came about. Now, before I play this video for you brothers and sisters here, I just wanted to get this Wikipedia information about line in the sand, okay? And as you can see here, it says line in the sand is an idiom with two similar meanings. It says the first meaning is of a point, physical, a decisional, etc., beyond which one will proceed no further. An example would be a person who might agree to visit a bar with his friends, but will go no further, i.e., not partake in drinking alcohol. The second meaning is that of a point beyond which once the decision to go beyond it is made, the decision and its resulting consequences are permanently decided and irreversible. An example would be to commit funds to completing a project as opposed to deferral or cancellation. Once committed, the funds cannot be spent on another activity and the project will either succeed or fail. So in other words, if you already spent the money and everything, man, ain't no turning back, okay? You're at a point of no return. You got to go through with it, all right? So it has, two similar meanings, all right? I just wanted to read that for you brothers and sisters, and then I'll also read that origin portion. But I wanted to get into this video here because, it gives some good information, all right, about this topic. And, I'm going to pull up a few articles and scriptures, and I pray you brothers and sisters out there are edified by this, man, all right? So let me maximize this screen here, all right, and take it back to the beginning.
The year is 168 BC. Rome has assumed dominance over the Mediterranean world. Just taking a look at this map doesn't paint a fair picture of just how dominant Rome already was at this point. The once powerful merchant state of Carthage had been defeated in 2 wars and had been...
Right. And those 2 wars were the Punic Wars, okay? Who were fought between Rome and Carthage. And I'm sure brothers, know about Hannibal Barca, okay, who was an Israelite man who went to war against the Roman Empire, man, all right? And he damn near took him down, but because of prophecy's sake, he didn't succeed, man, all right? And Carthage fell to Rome, okay? And one of the generals, all right, that fought in this war was Leo Scipio Africanus. Okay, he was one of those main generals who fought, and that's how Africa got its name, from Leo Scipio Africanus. Okay, a Roman Edomite general. That's how the continent Africa got its name. It was named after that devil. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that for you brothers and sisters. You can look it up for yourself. But moving on here.
Been reduced to a rump state. Its Spanish holdings now in Roman hands, and its African holdings would only remain independent for a few more decades. The Hellenistic city-states still remained free, but they were forbidden to wage war against each other, as Rome guaranteed all the city-states their independence. The Macedonian kings have been defeated in 2 wars, and their independence would only last a few more years before falling under direct Roman rule. In Anatolia, a new regional power had recently emerged, the Roman allied kingdom of Pergamon. Pergamon had received all of their lands after Rome had driven out the Seleucid king Antiochus the Great from Anatolia. Following the Treaty of Apamea, his son was taken hostage by the Romans.
Right, now, I wanted to stop it there because they mentioned how Rome defeated the Seleucid Empire and they signed the Treaty of Apamea. Okay, and I wanted to get into that information here because it's very crucial, and that event is spoken about in the Holy Scriptures, man. Okay, now the Treaty of Apamea isn't spoken about in the Scriptures, but that event is, okay? And so I just wanted to, I'll read a small portion of this here. This from Wikipedia. It says the Treaty of Apamea. It says the Treaty of Apamea was a peace treaty conducted in 188 BC between the Roman Republic and Antiochus III, ruler of the Seleucid Empire. And Antiochus III, he's the father of Antiochus Epiphanes IV. Okay, this is his dad here. It says ruler of the Seleucid Empire. It ended the Roman Seleucid War. The treaty took place after Roman victories at the Battle of Thermopylae. Okay, now don't get this Battle of Thermopylae confused with the Battle of Thermopylae that took place between Xerxes I and King Leonidas. All right, that event that you see in the movie 300. That's also known as the Battle of Thermopylae. Right? Excuse me. But Rome and the Seleucid Empire also had a Battle of Thermopylae, all right, that took place in 191 BC. All right, it says the Battle of Magnesia in 190 BC, and after Rome and Rhodian naval victories over the Seleucid navy. So Rome took down, all right, well, I should say Rome took that land from Antiochus III, okay, and basically put them in subjection, man. All right. Now, I want to put a small, it's like I wanted to read a small portion of this treaty. It says the terms of the treaty, okay, and I wanted to read a small portion of it so that you can see it also in the Holy Scriptures. It says Antiochus had to give 20 hostages whom the Roman council would select. The hostages should be changed every 3rd year, except the son of Antiochus. And who was the son of Antiochus? Antiochus IV Epiphanes, all right? He was held hostage in Rome for a couple of years, man. All right, it says, in the future, he would maintain no elephants. The Seleucid were forced to pay an indemnity of 15,000 talents of silver, of debt 500 euboid talents, immediately 2,500 more when the Roman Senate ratified the treaty and installments of 1,000 talents each to be delivered to Rome annually for the next 12 years. So that's all I'm reading on this treaty, man. Okay, but I wanted to go into that so that I can show you this event here mentioned in the Holy Scriptures. Now, this is the book of First Maccabees, okay? Chapter 1, inside of the Apocrypha, which is part of the Holy Scriptures. And I wanted to get this event here. It says, First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 10, it says, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, right? And we just read that there in this article. It mentioned that the son of Antiochus III, who was Slakia, Antiochus III, his son, Antiochus IV Epiphanes, he was a hostage at Rome. And the scriptures mention that, which shows you the Holy Bible is accurate when it comes to history, man. The Bible is a great, great source for history, okay? And this is why I love it so much, man. It says, I'll read it again, First Maccabees 1 and 10, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus III, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year in the kingdom of the Greeks. So I just wanted to mention that, since they mentioned it here inside of this video, so I'll continue to play on here.
This was Antiochus IV Epiphanes. He had by now returned to his father's old kingdom to rule as its new king. He was an eccentric man. He called himself Epiphanes, which can roughly be translated to God manifest. Some of his contemporaries, however, called him Epimanes, meaning the mad, a wordplay on his title. He was eager to emulate his great father. Antiochus wanted to continue the restoration of the once powerful Seleucid Empire. After his ascension, Antiochus took care to maintain good relations with the Roman Republic, sending an embassy to Rome in 173 BC with a part of the unpaid indemnity still owed from the 188 BC Treaty of Apamea. While in Rome, the embassy secured a renewed treaty of friendship and alliance with Rome. The king of Egypt was Ptolemy VI. He was Antiochus's nephew. He had been forcibly put on the throne by his uncle so he could be controlled. The citizens.
Right. Now, I wanted to go into that also, okay? And all of this is leading up to Gaius, Popilius, Laenas, all right? They mentioned how Antiochus IV Epiphanes forcibly put his nephew, Ptolemy VI, on the throne. Now, how was Ptolemy VI Antiochus IV nephew? Because of his mother, who was Cleopatra I. That was Antiochus' sister, okay? Which shows you that Cleopatra was an Edomite, okay? She wasn't a so-called black woman, as Eve liked to say. Cleopatra I and all the Cleopatras, they were Edomites, man. So Antiochus Epiphanes IV, he put his nephew on the throne of Ptolemy VI, so that he can, basically use him as a puppet ruler. And I just wanted to, read this and mention how that happened. All right, this is wars against Egypt and relations with Rome. And as you see here, it says main article, 6th Syrian War. So this event that I'm about to read to you, brothers and sisters, is a part of the Syrian wars that took place between the Seleucid Empire and the Ptolemy Empire, okay, or the Ptolemaic Empire. All right. So I'll read this here. It says, after his ascension, Antiochus took care to maintain good relations with the Roman Republic, sending an embassy to Rome in 173 BC with a part of the unpaid indemnity still owed from the 188 BC Treaty of Empimia. It says, while there the embassy secured a renewed treaty of friendship and alliance with Rome, greatly helped by the fact that Antiochus had come to power with the help of Eumenes II, Rome's principal ally in the region. It says, the guardians of King Ptolemy VI, Philometor, right? It says, demanded the return of Coele-Syria in 170 BC. And on the reason that King Ptolemy VI had guardians, because he was a young man. He was very young, so they set, basically guardians, or teachers, rulers over him to basically help him out in his decision making and doing things, man. Okay, it says, the guardians of King Ptolemy VI, Philometor, demanded the return of Coele-Syria in 170 BC. So they, basically wanted to take back the land that Antiochus took from them. Okay, it says, declaring war on the Seleucids on the assumption that the kingdom was divided after Antiochus' murder of his nephew. However, Antiochus had warning of the attack and had prepared more thoroughly. He had already built his forces and moved them into position. As soon as the Egyptian force left Popilius, they were attacked and defeated by Antiochus IV and his Seleucid army. The Seleucid then seized Popilius, giving them supplies and access to all of Egypt. He advances to Egypt proper, conquering all but Alexandria and capturing King Ptolemy. Okay, and this King Ptolemy is talking about his nephew, King Ptolemy VI. It says this was partially achieved because Rome, Ptolemy, Egypt's a traditional ally, was embroiled in the Third Macedonian War and was not willing to become involved elsewhere. So this guy Ptolemy, all right, he went down there into Egypt and he defeated them, okay, in a battle. It says, to avoid alarming Rome, Antiochus allowed Ptolemy VI to continue ruling as a puppet king from Memphis. Upon Antiochus' withdrawal, the city of Alexandria chose a new king, one of Ptolemy's brother, also named Ptolemy VIII. It said, it says, the Ptolemy brothers reconciled and agreed to rule Egypt jointly instead of fighting a civil war. Excuse me. All right, it says, right, yeah, okay, yeah. It says, the Ptolemy brothers reconciled and agreed to rule Egypt jointly instead of a civil war. So now I want to go back here to the video, and then I continue to read on in that article, right?
Citizens of Alexandria, however, appealed to Ptolemy VIII, the brother of Ptolemy VI, and to his sister Cleopatra II to form a rival government. Antiochus realized he was beginning to lose control in Egypt, so he decided to muster his army and march into Egypt to restore his influence in 168.
Right. So after Antiochus heard the news about how basically, the people of Egypt wanted Ptolemy VIII to also be a king, basically like a joint heir with Ptolemy VI, his nephew. When Antiochus IV caught wind of that, man, he made a second voyage. Well, he prepared to make a second voyage into Egypt. All right. And that a second voyage is spoken about here in the Holy Scriptures. It says, 2 Maccabees 5:1, about the same time, Antiochus prepared his second voyage into Egypt. So the scriptures It's documenting everything, man. Okay? And this is when Antiochus and his men saw the chariots in the sky for almost 40 days, man. And they was terrified by it. Okay? So going back to this article here, it says in 168 BC, Antiochus led a second attack on Egypt and also sent a fleet to capture Cyprus. It says, before he reached Alexandria, his path was blocked by a single elderly Roman ambassador named Gaius Popilius Laenas, who delivered a message from the Roman Senate directing Antiochus to withdraw his armies from Egypt and Cyprus or consider himself in a state of war with the Roman Republic. Okay, so going back here to the video, and the video basically saying the same thing what I read here, all right?
Antiochus sent a fleet to capture Cyprus, which was under Ptolemaic control, and the island surrendered to him. Antiochus then marched his massive army into Egypt, occupying Lower Egypt and setting up camp outside Pelusium. The weak king Ptolemy in Alexandria was powerless to defend his territories. But he did have powerful friends. He sent word to the Senate in Rome and requested aid against Antiochus. Instead of sending its powerful legions to aid the beleaguered Ptolemaic kingdom, Rome sent one man, the senator Gaius Popilius Laenas, together with a small retinue. When Popilius came close to Antiochus's camp outside Pelusium, it was obvious to everyone that the city could not hold out against Antiochus. The city was about to fall any day now. Popilius walked calmly into the Seleucid camp, making his way towards the tent of the king. Hearing that embassies from Rome had arrived, Antiochus quickly came out to meet them, greeting them with a big smile and reaching out his hand to shake Popilius's hand. Popilius, however, placed in his hand the copy of the Senatus Consultum and told him to read it first, not thinking it proper to make the conventional sign of friendship before he knew if his intentions were friendly or hostile. It was a decree from the Senate and the people of Rome ordering the king to cease this war against their ally. After reading it through, Antiochus looked up and saw the stern faces of the Romans. He knew he had sufficient forces to conquer Egypt with ease, and Ptolemy could put up little resistance against his invasion. For a few moments, he hesitated, astounded at such a peremptory order. So what could this small Roman retinue hope to accomplish? He could have easily overcome them and killed them on the spot. But he was well aware that Rome meant business. His father, Antiochus the Great, had suffered a decisive defeat by Roman hands at the Battle of Magnesia in 190 BC, and was subsequently forced to give up most of their land in Anatolia to the Roman allied state of Pergamon. So, what was he to do? Perhaps hoping a compromise could be worked out, he responded that he needed time to consider this new intelligence and confer with his counselors and friends what to do, and that he would summon the Romans once he had made his decision. Popilius, a stern and imperious man, walked up to Antiochus and drew a circle around the king with the stick he was carrying and said, "Before you step out of that circle, give me a reply to lay before the Senate," implying Rome would declare war if the king stepped out of the circle without committing to leave Egypt immediately. Antiochus was stunned by the audacity of Popilius. He quickly weighed his options, and he agreed to withdraw his forces from Egypt and Cyprus, just as the Senate and the people of Rome had decreed. At once, Popilius's hard demeanor changed. Smiling warmly, he came forward to shake Antiochus's hand and embraced him as a friend to Rome. Antiochus was deeply hurt and complaining indeed, but yielded to the circumstances. Ptolemaic Egypt fell forever out of his influence and into Roman influence instead.
Right. So That's the story behind Gaius Popilius Laenas lying in the sand. He came down at the call of Ptolemy VIII, and he gave Antiochus IV Epiphanes a letter from the Roman Senate telling him, "Look, you got to go." But Antiochus, talking about how he want to, go and consult with his council. So Gaius drew a circle around him and said, "Look, man, you better make a decision before you leave out this circle." And then Antiochus, he knew what was up. He knew that Rome didn't play no games. All right, because Rome was on, basically on the come up, man. Okay. Basically, Rome was running stuff. All right. So he didn't want to take it there with Rome. And so he was butthurt, and he agreed to leave Egypt and Cyprus. All right. Now, if you read 2 Maccabees 5, okay, this guy, all right, after this situation with Gaius, drawing a circle around him, okay, he heard some stuff, that was happening back inside of Jerusalem with Jason wicked behind, and he thought that the Israelites were rebelling against him. But this man came back to the land of Israel with an attitude, and he didn't give a damn. Him and his men went crazy on Jake, bro. They were slaughtering Jake left and right, man, because he was already butthurt. Okay, his ego was stumped, and this guy and Antiochus Epiphanes IV had a big ass ego, man. So he was butthurt, and he went to Jerusalem and went crazy, bro. He went to the land of Israel and just started slaughtering Jake left and right, man, because he was hurt. Okay, so that's it on this, brothers and sisters. All right, I just wanted to give you a backdrop on this guy, Gaius Popilius Laenas, and the phrase, lying in the sand. I know it took a little while to get to the information. To get through the information, but it was a build-up to that situation. All right, so I pray that y'all was edified, man. You can go watch these videos. You can watch this video here, or read these articles, the scriptures. It's all here, man. So I pray that y'all was edified. I'm going to close out by giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Chakodash, double honor to the apostle and elders of the great millstone. Peace and blessings unto the elect. And please forgive me if I was kind of rushing a little bit, but I pray that y'all was edified. Shalom.